Welcome back to the Fit Family podcast, where we are starting again because, well, I forgot how to talk and Danny got derailed a little bit. I forgot how to talk more than Danny got derailed. But we're going again and we're answering a very important topic and something that we're passionate about, absolutely, and it is about if diets work or don't work. Dan, do diets work?
Short term, yes. Long term, no.
That's a diplomatic answer. So, yes, and it is something that needs to be unpacked because to look at things in a black and white lens for something as difficult to understand as lifestyle and nutrition, you're just not going to get too far. So the actual practical application of diets, they 100% work. If you were to go all in on intermittent fasting or all in on keto or all in on low sugar, you would see fat loss results. Would you be able to maintain them? Probably not. Because if you pick low sugar because you saw something on social media or a friend at school pick up told you that they tried it and that was the reason they'd been able to lose 20 kilos, that's great for them. But they're preaching a method and we prefer to preach a principle. So good nutrition extends far beyond just the macronutrients or the ingredients you choose to prioritize. You have to look at things through the realms of overall quantity that you're eating and basically just discovering why something is effective. And that's where we get caught up on the, do diets work or don't work? Because the amount of people who have tried a lot of stuff in the past and come to us and say, diets don't work for me. And it's like, well, dieting works, but the diets you've chosen haven't worked because of a lack of sustainability.
Yeah, quite often we do hear, I know what to do because if I do X, I lose weight.
Yeah, if I can just cut out bread or if I can just drink a little bit less. And it's like, instead of focusing on those behaviors in isolation, we focus on why those behaviors work so that you can then apply it to a few different things. So if you were to cut out the 3 beers a night that you would normally have, well, then we're saving ourselves about 500 calories, and that's why it's working. So the beer is just the vehicle to obtain the calorie deficit required. And that's what we'd like to impress upon you today, is that diets work, but you can craft your own and not rely on a template that won't be sustainable for you and your lifestyle.
And that's why I think all of our coaching, everybody has a diet. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Everybody has a diet and everybody eats differently, and that's okay. And if you're in a position with your diet currently that you're not at a weight that you are happy with and you're looking to make some adjustments, you make those adjustments to your diet. You don't completely go and adopt another diet.
Yeah, like we start everyone off with a food diary. On our nutrition coaching, we do 5 to 7 days of gathering evidence. This is what you're doing well. This is what needs slight adjusting. And people are always surprised at how little we change to see results. It's often just highlighting a couple of ripple behaviors or ripple habits where it's something small that then, starts to morph into other things, and a change of mindset along with that. I don't know, when we talk about mindset, honestly, I shut down when people talk about mindset, but it does make a big difference when you feel a little bit more control over your intake, as though you're in charge, not getting dragged around like a caravan. And then that's when things start to really happen, and you realize just how much control you have over your overall intake and your results.
Like so much in our coaching, and this covers nutrition and fitness, focusing on what you can do and what you can include. That's one thing I think nutrition clients are always baffled by. We don't go in saying, take out X, Y, Z. It's like, include A, B, C.
Yeah, people are always ready to tell us all the things they can quit doing instead of all the things they can start doing. And the gap between no results and results is often a lot smaller than they think.
Absolutely. By including things that you're missing, quite often the things you're doing to replace that naturally subside.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were to have enough protein at your lunch, if you were just having a salad for lunch, and we say this all the time, in that initial food diary, we can see the effort. We can see what you're trying to do, but it's just a little bit misguided. It's too intense. Having a 200 calories salad for lunch, you're going to be starving by 3 o'clock. Whereas if you just had a little bit more, I I guess, hunger satiating foods like enough protein and carbs with your lunch to still maintain the overall deficit over the course of a day, but to mean that you're less likely to want to punch someone in the throat and eat a Kit Kat at 3 p.m., then it's going to help you in the long run. And that's that mindset, I think, that, like it's almost like a penny drop, a moment where it's like, I need to do something because I'm trying to do it by myself, and in an emotional state, I'm reaching out and I'm like, you tell me how to jump, how high. Like, harder is not necessarily better.
I'll just actually bring up a client that has recently embraced our one-on-one nutrition coaching, but has been a exercise client for a long time.
Yeah, online
and just
client.
Noticing the behavioural change in the movement exercise side. We've made absolutely no changes there. That's usual weekly stuff. And just the change in behaviour, because we are also attacking the nutrition. So I think that a lot of it does come down to the mindset, feeling good, making better decisions.
Yeah.
That flow-on effect is just so big.
Yeah, it's the control. Like, if I was to tell someone, like, what's more appealing? I'm going to help you lose 10 kilos, or I'm going to give you control over your nutrition. People will be like, give me the 10 kgs. But the two go hand in hand. When you are educated to the point of, this is how nutrition works and I have evidence to support this, then we can be flexible with not just that, that fat loss period, that dieting period. It's the period beyond that. It's the next 6 months, 12 months, 6 years, where then you have the tools and the know-how to be able to sustain the results. That is where the true, that nutritional freedom comes from, is not feeling as though I only get good results when I do paleo. I only get good results when I do fasting. It's just the flexibility to then suit an ever-changing lifestyle. And if we look at our own lives, we are pretty bland with our meal options because we know what the kids like and they just eat it. But one day, we hope, they may be able to handle something that's spicy, something that maybe has a few more, Mediterranean or Asian flavors in them, and it doesn't have to be so bland, and then our nutrition may change. But we have the know-how on how to adjust portions to kind of just stay in line with our overall goals. And that's what we give to our clients.
And our nutrition journey has changed so much over the years. If we think of all the things
let's
we've done.
talk about them.
Oh my goodness, let's talk about you, Benjamin. I feel like that's more dramatic than me.
Yeah, well...
Everyone loves a dramatic story. That's what they're all
Well, they're
about.
not that dramatic, but any diet you've heard of, I've done it. For sure.
No, I'm talking about the change in your diet from the time I've met you to now is... Oh my goodness. You can't even compare them.
No.
Whereas compared to my journey, I have tried different things, but the consistency over that period has been pretty solid.
Mine is certainly heavily linked to overall composition, for sure. And I try way less with my nutrition than I used to. And, I was 25 kilos heavier when I was 19, and I'm now 31, nearly 32. And the changes basically came when I stopped trying stuff and actually got to the root cause of good nutrition. So it's where, every time I try fasting or keto or paleo was probably the best. It was the closest to something sustainable from what we currently do now. But even still, the amount of pasta that we eat and rice, it just wouldn't work. Just because those, that nutrition strategy doesn't allow it. And that's just the rules. That's what we'd like to impress upon you, is that you don't have to live by rules, in a blog post, is that you can create your own using energy balance, proteins, quality ingredients, stuff like that. But yeah, I think, my goal was always fat loss, and the best results I got are pretty much whilst we were studying nutrition and I was starting to put into practice the best, the best practices from the course we did, which was the focus on scientific nutrition. Calories are important, eating good quality ingredients are important, and when you blend the two, the world is your oyster. The nutrition world is your oyster. But prior to that, it was stop-start on everything.
Yeah,
everything.
but also you gained control. So you lived in an environment, like you were living at home with your parents when I met you.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
would eat, obviously, whatever was provided.
Yep.
And then outside of those meals, you would have purchased anything outside what you didn't eat at home.
Yeah.
You purchased.
Yeah.
You didn't really cook or...
No.
Okay, so you've had quite a journey.
Oh, well, as in I cook now.
Yeah.
Yeah, poorly, but yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Like but I think that's, just the evolution of a teenager to adult male as well, is trying to figure things out nutritionally speaking.
You never thought about any meal that got dished up in front of you when you were at home, did you? You just ate your dinner?
Not until I got into fitness. Yeah, but like as a teenager, no, like I knew what I liked, I knew what I didn't like, but only once I'd left school and started training in the gym and stuff like that, I would pay closer attention. But because my education levels weren't there, like that attention was kind of misguided. So, like I wasn't necessarily doing the right things, or I was focusing on stuff that didn't actually matter as much. But I think everyone can relate to that, as people who have maybe been through this, like a similar type journey where they've struggled with their nutrition and then figured it out, is like you look back and you're like, well, the effort was always there, the awareness was always there, just the outcomes weren't, because the practice was a little bit wrong. That's
so
all.
when we, like coming back to controls, if we think about our nutrition clients, one of our first processes is gathering information from them. And a lot of the questions aren't actually about food.
Yes.
They are about the controls or the things
Logistics,
we
lifestyle.
can change.
Yeah.
Who is in control of buying your food? Who is in control of cooking your food?
Mm.
Those types of questions, and that's why I brought up the shift in environment for you. Your controls changed massively.
Oh, yeah.
Even before your nutrition education to where it is today.
Yeah.
And they are very big factors, because if you're trying to pull a lever you can't pull, if someone else is cooking you dinner, we're not going to focus on that dinner that you can't control.
No, it's learning how to make that fit the overall principles of good nutrition. Lots of mums in particular come to us with that type of issue where it's like, I want to eat well, but my kids are fussy. And then it's like, how frustrating that must be, where it's like, I'm trying to do this right thing. And often the right thing is overly restrictive in the first place. And part of our education process is, well, Harry only likes cold pasta. How can we make cold pasta, like a part of a healthy nutrition routine? It's like, oh yeah, but pasta's carbs. And then, that education comes around, well, how do carbohydrates fit within your lifestyle and how active you are and the training you might be doing, and how we can support that while still adhering to the overall principles of fat loss in general. And that's where dieting can go from just a bunch of set rules that people follow to just crafting your own protocol. And if you want to be sustainable with good nutrition and at a healthy body weight and supporting exercise goals, then you need to build your own.
Yeah, and that's
no one can tell you what to do. You need to build your own.
100% understanding all the factors that impact your nutrition choices.
It just makes it so much easier. Yeah, otherwise you'd be slamming your head into a brick wall.
And I think people just never ask the questions, because really they never know their starting point.
Yeah. There's also a little bit of a weird psychology around nutrition and training, where I think there's kind of an expectation that people should be able to figure it out themselves. Oh, if I'm motivated enough, I can do it myself. Or why can't I eat properly? Why can't I do that? And, the analogy I always use is like, well, if you've got a burst pipe, you call a plumber. Like you don't watch a YouTube video and try and do it yourself. Like, it's just, here's the problem, here's how you can correct it. And, there are people out there who can help you do that. And it will take years off the time it may take you to figure it out yourself. Like I'm the worst example, because for about 10 years I had no idea what I was actually doing until higher education and figuring it out and trial and error. But people can do it in 12 weeks now. It does not need to take you that long, provided you get the right advice. Actually, the time that, the thing that takes the most time is figuring out kind of who to trust in a way. It's like who can I actually listen to, who knows what to do here. Yeah, because there's a million different voices online, all telling you that they know what's up, and they may, but does their practice suit my lifestyle? Like, am I watching someone who gets me and the challenges that I face? For example, an 18-year-old aspiring athlete, I probably wouldn't want to be my nutrition coach. They might be perfect for someone else, but I wouldn't want them to be my nutrition coach. I would want a 40-year-old, ex-semi-pro athlete with kids and a business who kind of understands the struggles a little bit, but also is a high achiever in his own right, maybe, and then can, it's someone that I go, yeah, he may be able to get me. It's just picking the right person for your journey.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is a very personal journey. Obviously, if you're looking to get your tax done and you go to an accountant, they're all going to be able to fulfill that. But both nutrition and exercise, it does become so personal. Yeah, especially, absolutely. I think, as we get older and we go through all the different phases in life, just having that basic understanding and respect is really big.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in short, guys, what we want to get across to you is that diets absolutely do work, but they don't work for everyone in the way of like the practice. The protocol doesn't work for everyone, but like the philosophy of dieting, of course, works. You just need to find a protocol that will work for you within your lifestyle.
And generally, that means starting at looking where you're at. So what are your negotiables? Like what are you willing to give up, and what are your non-negotiables? Because that's a starting point, because anyone can eat chicken and broccoli and lose weight.
Yep.
Anyone can go on any diet, lose weight.
Yep.
Cleanse, sure.
Yeah.
Hit me.
And it's not a question of your motivation if you refuse to do that as well. It's like, oh, well, you just don't want it bad enough. It's like, come on, like who wants it that badly? No one. It's like, can't I just be 5 kilos lighter and a little healthier without having to eat like a bodybuilder? Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. It's not a measure of your motivation if you find it hard not to do something that's incredibly rigid.
Yeah. And especially given the challenges we face just in day-to-day life, like what is kind of available to us. I don't want to go off track, but
we cannot do another take. Do not sidetrack us with your rant about your current environment, please. Just touch on it briefly.
Okay, I'm just touching. Yeah. So obviously there are things.
I've been dying to talk about this.
There are challenges each and every day with what we consume. And that can be worked into your diet. So just understanding that we can adapt the diet we currently have if we know what we're eating.
Yes.
To make it sustainable, rather than doing something that is so strict, rigid, and removes all of those factors.
Yes.
Which play a massive role and will continue to play a massive role for the rest of your life.
Yes. Well, like what you're talking there as well is that, like, that true change that begins with a bit of an identity shift as well, and like organizing your values and stuff, and that is obviously incredibly important to kind of changing intrinsically who you are and what's important to you. But like, yes, and then after that, the tactics of good nutrition kind of come into play.
To this day, speaking to people that we have coached through nutrition, and they cannot believe where they're at, what their choices are, and they love their choices. It's not a hard choice for them. Something that was crippling to them is no longer even a consideration. Oh,
well, even from our own lives, like I used to smash ice cream every Friday night. It was like a typical bro cheat meal. Like end of the week, we'd have takeaway and ice cream. And it's not that I don't enjoy it now. I still enjoy it, but it's like what I do for fun has kind of changed a bit.
You would never, ever, ever. Could you smash a tub of ice cream now?
I could at the drop of a hat, but it's like, do I want to? It's like, it's not necessarily something that I would look forward to.
Would you enjoy that? No, that's what I'm saying. You could physically.
I would only enjoy it now if William and I were doing like a cold rock on his birthday, and we were just, chopping up a couple of lollies or whatever and having it with a bit of ice cream. It wouldn't be something that we would do in the same way as we used to, because I figured out that the only reason I really liked it was because it was a shared experience. So it would be us watching a movie on the couch, and it's like, well, do I enjoy that with a bit of a treat compared to, am I actually enjoying the ice cream? Would I do it if you weren't there? It's like, well, probably not. Like, I would used to, but like I wouldn't now. But that's also just like figuring out what you enjoy about it. So like it's more the ritual compared to the actual food. So no, I wouldn't do it now. But that took ages to figure that out. Like I get 80% of the enjoyment from half the ice cream, which means half the calories, which means I don't need to eat a whole tub to be fulfilled in that way. But that's the journey that everyone's on, is kind of figuring out what actually is it about this that I enjoy, or what's triggering it.
Yeah.
Topic for a different day though, because
Absolutely.
then we're talking about, then I'll let you rant till the cows come home about environment and what's normal.
Okay, let's move on to, we had a few questions.
Yeah, so the question, would your podcast expand to weight loss companies like Weight Watchers and Light and Easy? I haven't done these, but I'm sure there's a big marketing component of these. I think the question is around maybe why they're effective, or if they're effective.
Yeah, so obviously people are preparing calorie controlled meals and you're consuming them and you're not thinking about it. It's all done for you and you eat it.
Yes. So, I mean, the barrier to them working is pretty low.
Yep.
It's just like, okay, well, if I just eat my meals, I'll be fine.
Yep.
And you will, and you may finish a time block of 8, 12 weeks, 6 months, whatever it is, and be like, oh, I've lost 25 kilos. It's like, but do you have the know-how to sustain it? Do you know why they worked? Or are you just going to do Light and Easy and Weight Watchers anytime you need to eat less to lose weight?
Yeah, that's the thing. So if they've got you for life, like if you're eating that stuff the rest of your life, then you'll maintain. You could maintain your weight, and you're not thinking about it. It's all done for you. But the thing is, that's not life.
No, it's also not customized to each individual too. So you choose a caloric amount in the meals that they send you. I'm sure they've updated it now, but a few years ago, well, actually, you know what? I'm not sure they've updated it now, but a few years ago, it used to just be you would choose between 1,200 and 1,800 calories. So if I was to live on 1,800 calories for a month, 2 months, 3 months, I'd be emaciated pretty quickly. Like I would drop weight fast. Like that's well below my normal metabolism. Like just for reference, I need about 2,800 calories a day to maintain my weight. So to take 1,000 off that's a big deficit. It would work. I would lose weight quickly. I'd be a horrible person to be around, and I would feel disgusting.
Yeah. But what person also maintains, I know these companies, like you can pick just lunches, just dinners, just, whatever you choose. But the whole idea is that they take the guesswork out for you so you continue to buy their products.
Yeah, they make it easy.
Yeah, they make it as easy as possible.
And light.
Good one.
Yeah.
But, what does your life look like? So that's not very sustainable for most people, given like social practices and that kind of thing, like going. People always find during a working week quite easy.
Yeah.
Come the weekend, that's where we have really big conversations and really big education with our clients.
It can probably amplify any type of social eating stress or any type of occasion where there's going to be food out there, because it's like all of a sudden we get so connected to what we can control at home that it's like, is this actually improving my relationship with food? Am I then so hung up about what I'm going to be eating or not eating that I can't actually enjoy this 8-year-old birthday party, or I can't enjoy Christmas because I'm not eating my 300 calorie spaghetti bolognese?
Yeah. Can I also, just the last point before we move on, because I don't want to go too far into it, but like you said about that selection piece, like what you're actually selecting, do you actually know what your body requires for your current composition, for your current goal? Like understanding that piece of what you need? Or are you eating a light and easy dinner and then smashing a block of chocolate because you're starving? So there are so many factors there, but they can be very useful for people like some of these.
For sure.
Yeah.
ready meal. Thursday nights we've got X on. I get home, I don't have time to cook, I need something. Then absolutely, like it can fill a need for someone, but we would just encourage you not to stop there. Like continue to try and educate yourself or be educated on good nutrition beyond just I'm eating less calories.
And I'm very thankful this person does have quality education.
Yes, through our nutrition coaching program. Yes, yeah. We did have a question on a couple of specifics. Interested in fructose, trans fats, and ketosis, having read these books over the holidays. So, first things first, let's define our terms. So,
yes.
Fructose is the sugar most commonly found in fruit. In fruit, fructose obviously comes with other nutrients and specifically fiber. So it's one of those things, it was never meant to be isolated. It was something that we found in nature in the form of fruit. Now, when you take the fructose out of the fruit and use it as a sweetener or using it in high fructose corn syrup and the foods that come from there, that's when it can be a little bit problematic. So fructose found...
A little bit, wow.
Well,
yeah.
It can be very problematic because basically it can cause fatty liver and just, all sorts of health complications. Yeah, so having fructose with fruit, absolutely no dramas. Processed foods where fructose is added to, improve the sweetening of it and make it kind of super appealing to our silly chimp brains, a little bit problematic, but same as anything else, in conjunction with an overall calorie intake that supports your goal and enough protein and vegetables, fructose is absolutely fine, unless you have a medical condition.
Yeah. Okay, good point to make always. Whenever we're talking nutrition, this is general. If you have a health condition, that is a conversation with a doctor.
Yeah. Fructose for us, perfectly fine. Fructose for someone with type 1 or 2 diabetes, problematic.
Can I also touch on, so you mentioned that fructose is naturally found in whole foods.
Yes.
And it's fine because nature has this way of creating the perfect combination of things that our bodies were designed to eat. We have now moved away. Okay, so humans, we eat so much processed food right now, and we've taken pieces. Just let's use fructose as the example here. So fructose, perfectly fine in an apple because it's got that combination.
Yeah, it's whole.
Exactly, that
in conjunction
signals,
with everything else.
Excuse me, Benjamin, I'm talking.
Sorry.
He always cuts me off. So this apple has this combination that then would trigger us to stop eating, right? Because of the combination that's in there. However, we've taken this fructose out and we've put it into everything. Oh my gosh, fructose is in so much processed food. And you know why? Because that makes you want more.
Yeah, so that's the ingredient that makes it just really delicious. Yeah, and it's what we talked about on last week's episode with food marketing. Like there is so much money poured into basically trying to get us to buy more of the product. So gearing it to make it as pleasurable as possible is top of the agenda. How can we make people love Uncle Toby's roll-ups so they just continue to buy more and their kids want them in the lunchbox and all sorts of repercussions like that. So just be aware of foods like that, is that it tastes really good because it's been designed to do so, and it may not necessarily be the best thing for your health or your composition goals in that moment.
Yeah. In its natural form, your body would signal to you stop.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't eat 10 apples.
No. But how many muesli bars could you eat?
Yeah.
Stacks.
Yeah.
Especially those yogurt topped ones.
Yeah. So
don't make those anymore.
and you same as vitamins, guys. I'm going a little bit off track again.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying when we eat whole foods and we're getting vitamins through whole foods compared to supplementing vitamins, most vitamins work because they're mixed with other things that help you absorb them.
Yeah, so vitamins in isolation aren't necessarily absorbed in the same way that they are as with a partner.
Yeah. So, we get caught up with like every single powder and tablet out there, and,
They have their place.
And they do. Absolutely. Yeah. Supplements do. But my point being, we've moved so far away from a whole food diet that we don't know what we're doing. We're just concocting anything.
Yeah. It's sort of like there's a few leaks and we're sticking fingers in every leak, and it's like instead we should just basically burn the boat and get a new one.
Well, what was the next one? Fructose, and it was...
Trans fats.
Okay, so hit us with a definition.
There are a couple of different types of fat. So there's saturated fat, which most people will be familiar with. It's tends to be animal-based or dairy-based. Then there's monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. Those three are great. Trans fats is the ones that we've kind of manufactured to help with shelf life. And that's the one that we can pretty much safely say that it has no redeeming features for your health. So that's the more damaging fat. But again, our bodies are machines. If we, and they will basically deal with whatever we give it to a certain point. So if trans fats are a really regular part of your diet, then that's not great, and we should probably look to substitute some of those foods as best we can. But also if you were to occasionally have trans fats, like they're often in potato chips, then you will be okay.
Absolutely. Probably what most people could identify with here would be going to the doctor and getting your bloods done and what they call bad cholesterol.
Yeah.
You'd associate with trans fats.
Yeah, and the beauty of cholesterol is, unless it's a hereditary issue, unless it's been passed through your family, a lot of the cure, so to speak, is increasing your fiber intake and being more active. So that's more fruit and vegetables and more exercise. Then that's a pretty straightforward kind of counter to things that are a little bit more detrimental to your health in general. So yeah, it's not... I think instead of focusing on super specific ingredients or, fructose and trans fats are super specific. And if we were to just zoom out a little bit and say, okay, well, if I'm not having too much of them, if there is truly no such thing as an unhealthy food, only an unhealthy diet, I think it helps frame individual cases where you can have some potato chips and be fine.
Yeah.
You can have some chocolate and be fine. You can have some high fructose corn syrup and be fine, but is it regular in your diet?
Yeah.
But that can be the hard distinction to kind of make, because then we're on a sliding scale of how much is too much. And basically, if your health is starting to fail, or you're not feeling that good, or you're starting to gain weight, or you can't lose weight, then that's where it might be worth addressing those intakes.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, what was the third one? It was fructose, trans fats. Wasn't there a third one?
Oh, there was. Let me scroll down. It was water retention.
No, on this one.
Oh, ketosis. Oh. Ketosis, yeah. The keto diet. So
we did this.
we did it, and Danielle's bowels haven't recovered.
Not good.
It was so ketosis is the fuel source for your body in the absence of glucose. So when you have cut down your carbohydrate intake so far to the point where your body goes, we cannot fuel our bodily processes using glucose, which is our preferred source of fuel. So we have to then start breaking down fats into ketones. Now, this is basically a nutrition protocol that people used for, oh my God, I'm having a mental blank. What's it called when people have fits? Epilepsy, that's the one. So it was designed to help people with epilepsy, and it's super powerful for people with epilepsy.
I was about to say, no carb, gluten, for specific conditions.
Yeah.
There are so many effective diets.
Yeah,
we're not dietitians, guys, and there are people that study for this, eating for the specific for conditions.
Medicinal reasons.
Exactly. And diet is used all over the world successfully when people are really, really sick.
Yes.
But we're, again, coming back, we're talking about general health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, just logically speaking, if your body's preferred method is glucose, which is, broken down simple sugars, then we should probably stick with that. It is that for a reason. It's the easiest to break down into usable energy. Our body performs well at high intensities. Your breath won't stink, which is often a little side product of ketosis there. You won't have brain fog. You'll be able to perform exercise at a great intensity. You'll be able to concentrate. All that type of stuff that, is prevalent on a person with good nutrition and in good health. We don't need to be changing the energy substrates for that.
Still to this day, I can remember the brain fog.
Yeah.
Feeling blah.
Yeah, I felt like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, low energy, didn't have energy to train. That's not everyone. I'm sure there are people who, they think that keto is great. Also, just a little side note, most people who think they're ketogenic are not actually ketogenic. They're just low carb, because you cannot eat that much protein on a proper keto diet, because protein will get broken down into glucose. So you really have to basically be eating 80% of your daily calories from fat, which is a massive amount. Massive amount. Ketosis is a no bueno from us. We haven't had to we haven't coached anyone where
goodness.
I've been like, I guess we just need to try keto.
Yeah.
People have been able to achieve better results, good health, without having to turn to something so drastic. But again, it's really helpful for some people, just not for the general population.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay.
I think that's pretty uncontroversial.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.